Hi everyone, my name is Francesca Deslick and this is my capstone project on comparative oncological genomics between humans and canines. So, University of Florida recently did a study on hemangiosarcoma, which is an aggressive type of cancer that originates in the blood vessels, and they found a mutation in the PIK3CA gene that helps the tumor confuse the immune system. This mutation filled a previously unknown gap in our understanding of similar human cancers. The real question is, could this finding represent a broader trend in comparative oncology, where studying canine cancers helps unlock treatments for humans? So here's a brief overview of comparative oncological genomics and why canines make such great models for studying human cancers. One of the reasons is the rate that canine cancer advances is similar to or greater than humans, making it easier to study cancers in canines on a quicker timeline. Additionally, we share our lived environment with our pets. We share a lot of the same environmental factors with our dogs that contribute to our cancers, so it makes them a great model because of these environmental factors. And finally, domestic dogs develop their cancers due to defects in many of the same genes found defective in human cancers. This makes them a great model genetically because a lot of the same mutations that are cancer-causing are found in domestic dogs as well as humans. This figure really exemplifies those genetic similarities and shows us that a lot of the same genetic defects and mutations occur in both dogs and humans, and both lead to cancers. So how is canine cancer shaping human treatment? Well, the National Center for Cancer Research has a comparative oncology program that runs clinical trials in dogs with naturally occurring tumors and seeks to find immunotherapies and new drugs that have an effect on them to further treat on humans. Some of the cancers that canines provide an excellent model for studying humans include osteosarcoma, prostate and breast cancers, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, melanoma, soft tissue sarcoma, head and neck carcinoma, and virally induced lymphomas. Additionally, tumors that develop spontaneously in pet dogs due to normal aging and mutations secondary to lifetime exposures share many of the same characteristics with human cancers. Some of these characteristics include histologic appearance, biological behavior, molecular drivers, heterogeneity, therapeutic response, acquired resistance or recurrence, and patterns of metastasis. This further shows why studying canine cancer can provide an excellent model for studying human cancer and therefore finding more treatments for human cancer. Now, there's a lot of ethical and social issues to consider as this is pertaining to research on animals, and the number one is probably, is this research ethical? These studies being done are very non-traditional because they are being done on pets, real pets with real diseases, and not lab animals. So there's always the question of whether euthanasia is the better option, and really what it comes down to is the well-being of the animal and the pet, and that is the number one priority. So there are frameworks in place for this research where if this animal is undergoing severe suffering, euthanasia is probably the option, but oftentimes these dogs are also benefiting from this research. They're real pets with real diseases, and they are getting treated for cancer in new ways and sometimes old ways just to study these effects. Now, one of the social issues is the issue of One Health. One Health is the idea of interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health. Comparative genomics is a great example of One Health because the health of dogs and the study of the health of dogs is furthering the study of the health of humans. As I mentioned earlier, the hemangiosarcoma study done at the University of Florida had researchers studying hemangiosarcoma and made a major breakthrough that filled in gaps of understanding in human medicine. As you see today, this single discovery represents much more than just one breakthrough. It's part of a growing field of comparative oncology, where studying naturally occurring cancers in dogs is transforming how we diagnose, treat, and even prevent cancer in humans. Studies such as this hemangiosarcoma study, we're not just seeing one model for collaboration between human and veterinary medicine, but we're seeing a shared fight against cancer with humans and animals. Thank you very much for listening.